Hey, welcome to Backwoods Brothers. It is good to be back on the show
Backwoods Bulletin.
here. Backwoods Bulletin. What did I say?
Backwoods Brothers.
Whatever.
He's special.
Joel's back.
Special. Yeah.
Yes. Now that's when the mistakes come back around. Huh?
Yeah. That's why we let him park anywhere he
Yeah.
wants.
I'm special.
Look at these
Hey,
twins.
look at us. We're matching today. Yeah. Different hat though.
Independence Month, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is
right.
definitely. Look at the background. We got all these flags around. It's great.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So
They've been here for
we
a
got
while
some behind
now.
Jim.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all American.
Hey, Jim. Say hi.
Hello.
Hey. We got Brandy over here hanging out.
Hey guys,
That's the
Tired
sexy
girl.
part of the studio over there.
it's the tired part of the studio.
Yeah. And then we got Lois back here. Hey! Okay. Anyways, hey, we got lots of good stuff we're gonna go over tonight. We talked a little bit about
Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. Yep, we watched
Yeah.
that movie over the
Hence
weekend.
the
That
hat.
was great. We're
Yeah,
gonna talk
he's
a little.
got the freedom hat going
Yeah,
on.
Yes, he
right.
does. God's children are not for sale.
That's right.
That's right.
So
That's right.
then we're gonna talk a little bit about some Bidenomics.
Bidenomics. Well, that would be
That would be
a short
short. Next topic.
Yeah. The inside part of it, there is no such thing as Bidenomics. We're gonna talk a little bit about kind of some local news.
local news.
We got a big announcement to people who don't already know. We'll be talking about that a little bit today and what that means for the show and how we're going to be going forward. And it will be going forward.
Brenda says she loves the shirts, boys.
Oh, thank you.
There
You
we
know,
go.
Gotta be patriotic.
Hey, it's all about the
And
moment.
then I know Jim's got some good good
yeah.
veteran news over there. What was that again, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Brandy's got some good stuff over here to talk
Oh
about.
yeah, mostly about our movie, but yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
excited to talk about that one.
Yeah.
So, let's completely mix this up a little bit because I like to break things. Let's start with Jim.
Okay.
What you got, Jim?
Let's see. I was going to talk about the movie, but I guess I can start.
You can start.
We all
Go for it.
attended the Freedom
Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom yesterday. It was nice. I was telling my wife that seeing San Ysidro, California, working there for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4, 5 years all the time out of my 24, and now it was only 24 lanes. Now I think it's like 31 lanes of traffic now, and it just brought me all back. It was pretty awesome.
That's insane.
And then just to see someone who is definitely not afraid to do the right thing. It was awesome. And I think a lot of people, when they see movies, they see a bad guy, and he's the one that traffics children. But it wasn't until his partner said, "Well, how many pedophiles have you arrested?"
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
How many kids have you saved? And he just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Reality check.
Eye-opening.
check.
Exactly.
For sure.
I mean, that's a big area for you. You've been talking about him
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Ballard. He's
Yeah.
awesome. It was really cool to see the movie because for me specifically, because I've been following him for so long and been talking about him for so long. And I get the question all the time, why do you harp on this subject? Why are you constantly talking about it? It's such an icky subject that nobody wants to talk about, but we have to talk about it because we have to. I mean, we have to. Because you're seeing what's going on in the main media right now, where they're basically saying this is a QAnon conspiracy movie. This is, it's right-wing propaganda. This isn't real. This is a true life story about what this guy did, how he started his organization from the beginning, what happened, why he left his job, why he went after this, and why he decided to go this route. And they're making it out to sound crazy. And it's just insane to me. Like, somebody who could go to this movie and say that it's a conspiracy and that it's not really happening after seeing that movie has to either support pedophilia or is a pedophile. And I'm sorry, but this is the truth.
I mean, that or they're just so blind by the what the big media is telling them,
Right.
that they're just going to fall in line without any critical thought. That's the real thing. It's either they support it, they are it, or they're just not, like, they're not really paying attention. They're just going off what someone else tells them, letting someone else do the thinking for them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think,
Absolutely.
anybody watching that movie, watching a little girl drum a made up drum that she did
Oh yeah.
in the beginning of the movie, and then she gets taken, and the things she endures. There's no special effects. There's no Tom Cruises. There's no Brad Pitts here.
Mm-mm.
This was all real. That movie was exactly how it looks, exactly how I'm sure it is, and the pain was real.
Yeah.
So you ask yourself, why, when we go to the theater, it wasn't on the marquee?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yet
It wasn't on the
you have a
marquee.
theater packed with people to watch this movie.
Yeah.
You know, to me, ignoring a problem like that and our children, the biggest and most wonderful asset we will ever have is ludicrous.
Mhm. And for those who this is only being shown currently in theaters because Amazon, Netflix,
5 years.
everything else wouldn't pick it up.
When I retired, that's how long
Mhm.
the movie's been.
Yeah.
And like I said, this goes back. That movie, I talked to Terry about it afterward, and it took me back to the days of catching a group of individuals at the beginning of shift, say 10:30 at night. About 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, you catch the same group, adults, but with different children.
Yep.
And this is back in the 90s under President Clinton. And we're like, we're no dummies. Those aren't your kids.
Yeah.
What is going on here? So we'd have to separate them. And it wasn't until President Trump,
Mm-hmm.
let's do DNA testing.
Yeah.
Make it real easy. You don't have to interview and separate them or put them aside for ICE or HSI. We can do that.
Yeah.
But now they have DNA testing.
Yeah, all
Pretty
you're
simple.
looking for is
Yep.
they have familiar matches. That's all it takes.
Yep.
And what was good was not to give any of the movie away, but it was pretty good. And a couple times I've seen the agents actually there because they know the target, they know he's coming in, but they usually let him come in and they refer him to secondary inspection.
Mhm.
They don't do it right there all the time. I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of funny because they're going to jump in and rip them out. And I mean, that was pretty cool. But
Yeah. That's not
you want to
real.
try to
Well,
do it. in
They,
a
they
more
did say
secure
that there
area.
were some Hollywood pieces to it.
Right.
Like they gave it the Hollywood approach on some of it. I mean, you
That was
gotta
pretty
give
cool.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
My mom actually said she wants to see the movie, but she can't get anyone to go with her. She thinks she says I think that might say it all.
Yeah.
And that's true. I mean, there are people that can't watch this movie. It's too difficult. It's too emotional, and I don't give them any I don't say anything ill about that because if I hadn't been prepping for this for years by talking about it, I probably would be one of those people too, where it would be too hard to watch. But we have to. Some of us have to, and if you hadn't heard, like if you weren't following these things like I've been for years and you haven't been listening to me or other people talking about it like Matt Walsh or Tim Ballard himself, if you hadn't, but you went to this movie, your eyes are open to what's really going on out there. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, they talk about at the end of the movie, like that mission specifically, how he left Colombia saving like 100 and something, or like putting away
125.
125 kids. He has saved thousands of kids at this point, you guys.
Yeah.
He's put away thousands of pedophiles at this point. Before, with his job with the government, he was putting away pedophiles. He said it was like 238 pedophiles.
280 I thought.
280, something like that, pedophiles, but he couldn't answer how many kids he saved. So think about the difference there. Like the drastic difference between working for the government and then going out on his own and going rogue, basically, seeing the drastic difference in how many kids he's actually been able to save.
Well, if you think about it, it's actually with today's, the way that they treat criminals today, they just release them right back onto the street pretty much.
Right.
And lack of prosecution, saving the kids is the most important piece. Because obviously catching the pedophiles and everything else, they're not doing anything about it. They're not doing anything about the traffickers. So save the kids. That's
At
the
least.
impact.
At least get the
Could
kids.
you imagine if the United States put as much effort into the goodwill gesture, such as giving money to Ukraine to fight a war, if they turned around and put SEAL team on a mission to save children
Yeah.
in all countries, wouldn't
All be
that be a
saved.
better gesture?
Well,
Of
yeah.
goodwill
Amen.
to-
Well, think about if they
would
put
think.
the amount of money that they just dropped into Ukraine, which they've already started to track some money back into politicians' pockets. By the way, we're not going to
Yeah, surprise.
much, but they've if they put that as much money as they put into Ukraine, even the slip up of $5 billion, they put that into actually stopping human trafficking. This would
Golly.
be a problem in the U.S.
That's right.
Which, by the
That's right.
way, that exceeds both the Border Patrol, Customs, HSI's
Oh, yeah.
budget
Mhm.
for the border investigations, all that stuff.
Yeah, think
What
about
we
it.
already sent to Ukraine.
If you, it's we've sent over $100 billion to Ukraine. Think about if we dropped that on our borders, to deal with the border issue. You'd cut the
Yes.
drug trade down. You would cut the sex trafficking down, and you would have to worry about all the safety of like basically potential terrorism coming in. So
Yeah. Well, they talked about how in and this isn't giving anything away because it's in the previews of the movie, but he talks about how this is surpassing the gun trade and the drug trade because you can sell a bag of cocaine once, but you can sell a child 5 to 10 times a day for 10 years.
exactly.
And it's just insane.
I think
Disgusting.
it's so critical. And at the very end, if you go to the movie, stay ill. There's a special message at the end that really brings it all home. But the big thing is though is if you have problems sitting in a movie theater, PTSD, something else like that. I have that problem. I don't go to movies because because of the I PTSD from the military. I can't stand people behind me. Too many people around me it gets me nervous. Dark, cramped area. It's just too much for me. But what we did is we rented the in this case a Sandy theater, and a lot of theaters do this. But you can rent a theater. We had a private showing. It wasn't very expensive. It only cost a couple $100. We got to bring up to 25 of our closest friends. And
yeah, that was
when
so
I have
cool.
I
when I
couldn't
have-
reach you. I couldn't throw the popcorn far enough.
I know it was a huge theater with very few people in it, so it was nice because there was very few people. But it's people that I know and I trust and I feel comfortable with, so I didn't have any problems sitting in that theater.
Well, you didn't see me in back of you. I was aiming.
Yeah, I know. Well, I heard you blubbering up top there,
That's right.
crying.
That's
I
right.
mean, I could hear the tears hitting the back of my head.
That's right. No, that was the anger.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for sure.
I'll tell you, if they put that on for most of these younger men coming out of high school and are checking their options for military, if your military entry was a video on children that have been trafficked and you could go in on a mission to save them, do you know how many people would join tomorrow?
Oh my god.
Oh yes,
yeah.
exactly.
That's what they should put out there.
The
Absolutely.
thing
That
is
would
that
be
they
amazing.
instead their mission today is being nice to the people when they come in. The shark attack's gone.
Yeah.
The shark attack is gone from the military entrance
Oh, yeah.
and boot camp. But they also focus on make sure you get the pronoun and gender right, and all these different things. And they've lost the track. It's the military. They are designed to train people to protect our nation. That means you have to train them to kill.
Yeah.
You have to have that aggression. That is part of what you have to do because you have to be able to in the midst of an emergency or a crisis, or if you have to go to war, you have to be able to turn that piece on to be able to do the job so you can come home.
Yeah.
The enemy doesn't care about what your
And
pronouns
there is
are.
a possibility you're going to have sacrifice.
Exactly.
You may not come back all in one piece.
Yeah.
You may not come back with your mind in the right place, but you'll come back a hero
Yeah.
because you're doing the right thing. And that's what we got to get back to, the military that we once had,
That's
the
for
real
sure.
military.
They say the bullet doesn't care.
That's right.
That's what they say.
That's right.
It doesn't judge. It's not racist
That's
or
right.
anything else. It'll do it all the same. So you need to be properly trained and to get them in the right mental state for that.
Well,
That's-
a good segue to that because we got to take care of that before
I
it
know,
gets too
get
hot.
into it.
But if you gotta, you can't talk about. We're talking about gender, right?
Red,
So
white, and blue.
there's a beer that put a stupid idiot on a can,
This right here.
and yeah,
No,
these-
that's
talk
not gonna
about-
put it out of the can.
This
but-
is the good one. Our friend of ours gave us a 6-pack, John Meter.
That's right there.
Let's see if I can
Ultra right.
alter it.
This is to show you that Budweiser sucks.
Take these instead.
So ultra
So,
right. the
We're here
special
to
order.
try this beer tonight.
the special gift from John Nieder.
Still cool.
Yeah, John
you,
Eater
John.
put these out. He
Thank
says
you,
you
John.
got to try these and tell us what you think.
So we're gonna crack
we're
this
gonna
open
crack
live right here.
Here we
And
go. On the
ultra
big
right.
screen.
It says conservative
All
dad
four of us.
ultra right. 100% woke free American beer. And we are up for welcome the
right.
sponsors if you like. These are not sponsored right now.
Salud.
Salud.
Ready.
Cheers. Virtual touch. Yeah, that's right.
Don't judge
It's
my
actually
face.
good. Yeah,
on
yeah.
beer
I
brewing.
like that. Smooth.
Gotta have a beer and
Oh,
forever
you and me
in a
neither.
day. Wow.
4.8% alcohol. You move that.
Ooh, there's a good comment here. Mike Dobbs said, I love the festive patriotic attire. But John Landry said, Eduardo Verastegui, main producer, and Tim Ballard were on Timcast ROL. I like Timcast, by the way. July 13th, Tim donated a $50,000 check to the Spear Fund, Ballard's new financial fund for all top tier trafficking rescue organizations like the one he originally funded, which is the Operation Underground Railroad.
Thank God.
Plus a $11,500 donation to pay it forward tickets to let more people become aware of the real crisis
Nice.
going on with the trafficking, and that's pretty awesome.
We put
Yeah.
should put the link to the pay it forward thing on
Pay
there.
it forward.
Yeah.
Don't judge my face on that. I'm not a beer
we'll,
girl.
We'll post the link after the show. Brandy, can we get that link to that pay it forward thing?
Yeah, we'll post it after the show.
Yeah, definitely.
Go
All
ahead.
right.
Talk
I just
about
wanted
the
to,
beer.
I just want, well, before the beer, I just wanted to comment more on the movie again
Yeah.
in regards to U.S. Attorney's Office.
Yeah.
Always wanting stats.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw. We saw the people on the screen,
Yeah.
people on the computer, seeing awful images of things they should never be on the internet.
Yeah.
And I was hoping to see, or for America to see, the horrible conditions that people live in when they do get smuggled. I'll say smuggled, not trafficked,
Yeah.
because, working with other agencies, they were called stash houses, load houses.
Yeah.
Didn't see any of that in this movie.
Yeah.
Because they went all the way to the origin
Yep.
of where the children came from. All the way in Central South America.
Yeah.
Europe, Asia, Africa,
Well,
and
yeah.
get them to the U.S.
And you notice
That was unreal.
some of the last comments about what country benefits the most from the sixth
Oh,
grade.
God,
Oh,
it made me sick.
And who do you think's on the top of the list? The good old United States.
Mm.
You
Yep,
know,
they are the top not only top suppliers, but they're
Yeah.
also the top consumers.
buyers. Yeah, they buy it.
You,
They
you,
buy it.
well, a while back, the human trafficking trade realized that it's actually they can make more money by, instead of stealing a child from across the seas and shipping them over here, they can steal them local and
Yeah.
use them local, and they can
So
save
gross.
more money that way on shipping. And it's if you one of the pieces in that really I thought hit home too for me. I think that it really should be hitting home for others is there's a piece where it shows you how quickly they grab the kids.
Oh, yeah.
A whole
The-
little clip.
The
yeah,
real security footage of them grabbing kids.
yeah, it was real. Like at one point, one guy came and slowly sat down by somebody. I think it was like a homeless lady or something.
Yeah,
just
like she
picked
was
up the
sleeping with her
child.
baby.
Yeah, and
And
picked up the
boom.
child, walked
Yeah.
away.
Smooth, just
Another one, there was a kid our daughter's age, simply walking down the road. A
Mhm.
van pulls up, a guy comes over, grabs her, and they try to feed, and he literally picks her up and just jumps in the van. And the other kids around went chasing after, but nothing they can do. It's gone.
Yeah.
And it is over and over and over. And I mean, these are kids that are 10, 12, and younger, and they snatch them and they're gone. It's within seconds.
Well, the main
That-
girl in this movie was 11, so she's like almost identical
Yeah.
to our daughter's age. Oh my
Yeah, in
gosh.
that case there, what that
Oof.
was is they showed the other part too, where they tricked these kids and the parents too into taking them and releasing them into the care of someone they didn't know,
Yeah.
and then they go back together and they're gone. And that just shows that parents need to be involved in what's going on with their kids.
Yeah.
And they need to be involved with their taking their kids to somewhere, unless you know somebody.
Don't leave them.
Exactly.
but they
Not blaming the dad,
but they targeted a single father,
yeah,
Mhm.
they sure
with two
did.
kids.
Exactly.
Horrible.
And it makes you wonder, where are we at on the death penalty?
Yeah.
All right.
Because I can honestly tell you, in the circumstance that we saw in that movie, bringing back the death penalty and not putting these people on parole and sending them back out to do the same thing again
The
to
pro-
our children is
the problem is they're trying to make this normalized.
Yeah.
It's a violent felony.
So
Period.
Yeah.
there's some comments that came in here, but John Landry shared the pay it forward link, so that's in our comments.
Yes.
Awesome.
Way to go.
Jay Simmons said more than one Epstein Island. There's hundreds of them probably.
Yep.
And John Nieder said, "What do you think of the beer?"
It's great.
Oh,
it's really
it's
smooth.
good beer.
Yep.
Good beer. Thank you
Good.
very much, John.
I'm
Thank
not a
you.
beer girl, but it's
She
good
has
for
bitter
a beer.
beer face, so you're gonna have to give her up, right? Because every time I look over, she looks like an oak tree. She's all.
What was that face again there? Sean? I want to get a snippet of that.
So
That's
either
gonna
that's a
be
funny way
our-
of
our
saying I
new,
like it. She doesn't like beer.
Yeah, but I'm drinking it, and it's
You are
better than
drinking
it's
it.
better than other beer.
That's right.
And like I said, it says conservative dads ultra right.
That's so cool.
100%
Woke
woke free
free.
American beer.
That's right.
And
That's
let's
right.
see if there's
Eat steak, lift weights, be uncensorable, drink a little beer.
Support American values. Ultrarightbeer.com.
yeah, ultra right,
All right.
ultrarightbeer.com. You can tag them on social media if you're enjoying your ultra right beer. It says.
That's
So,
kind of cool.
We better
That's kinda
tag them
cool.
later.
yes, definitely.
You have to,
Lawrence
you have to
Village
build a
George.
wall
Hey,
with these cans.
If you
Yeah.
tag, if everybody do me a favor, go out and tag them on social media right now. Say hey, we saw you guys being discussed on
With Bolton.
Backwoods Bulletin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, do me a favor. So maybe we can get them to come sponsor us.
That'd be good,
Hey,
yeah, wouldn't it?
Yep.
that would be cool.
Down home beer. on
You can
the
get
down
shirts
home
like
fish.
this,
That's right.
right?
Exactly.
You guys have the right shirts for it. That's
exactly.
for sure.
Kind of blends in there a little
Just
bit.
blend right
Look at
in.
that.
That's right. All American.
Yep.
Perfect.
Exactly. Okay, so we discussed a little bit about Sound of Freedom, which, like I said, go see it. Hands down, right?
Yep.
Well, this should be a really quick conversation. Bidenomics.
Yep.
It's
I'm trying to think if there's anything we can talk
Yeah,
about.
we're done, right?
well,
Yeah.
so he keeps touting that he's lowered inflation.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And sure, it's
Uh-huh.
down to 3% in some cases. But what the thing is that they're not really talking about is core inflation. And core inflation is still up. It's at 4.6%, I think is what it is.
Mhm.
And since he's taken office, the cost of like food and products and everything have gone up 16%.
Yeah.
16% increase. And
Yeah.
that hasn't come down at all. Sure, the monthly rate, they didn't raise it and it went down to 3% in that
Right.
case, but that's because it went up dramatically. I love also he says they created 13 million new jobs. No, they didn't count 13 million new jobs. They recovered to what it was before. And yes, there are 4 million new jobs after that. But every presidency has new jobs because
Well, it's
what
kind of
it-
easy to give new jobs when your COVID took out
right.
Half the job.
millions of jobs to begin with. So
Exactly.
all you're doing is filling existing seats.
Well,
That's
that's, the thing is
right.
they're counting new jobs, but the thing is every year you get new jobs because some companies go away and new companies open.
Yeah.
It happens every year, especially when you lost half of the small businesses during
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
New businesses came in to replace them, and of
So-
course there's new jobs. So the thing is they tout these big numbers and as Bidenomics, but the reality is the cost of living has actually gone up tremendously.
Too
Now,
much so.
granted, recently there's looking to be a bull run on the market where it's actually stocks are gonna go up and stuff, but I think that's not necessarily to his economic policies. I think that's because of the recovery period of when things have been down and the market's starting to finally get back and stabilize a little bit from when they destroyed it from COVID.
Yeah.
And because of that, investors are starting to open up a little again. And because yes, a super increase from COVID that they put in place there from shutting everything down, launched that inflation rate up, and then they're finally getting it back down because they're finally getting it back to what it was before they blew everything up.
Yeah.
So their numbers are nothing to really brag about. In fact, all they're doing is what they should most presidents can do in their first 6 months to a year is what they're finally just getting started on because they broke everything for so long.
Well, my theory is if you're going to come out bragging about it, then you're
Yeah.
not showing the people anything.
No.
Because
Yeah.
you've got to brag about it. If you
You're
were doing
sick
all
of
this,
big.
the people would be saying, "Hey, you're doing great."
Exactly.
Right.
His on economic policy, his approval rate is under 35%.
That's high.
That's the last one I
Higher
saw.
than I would expect. For
Yeah, but here's the funniest thing of everything out there. I saw this today and it just killed me. The newest guidance for COVID for unvaccinated people is that
Same.
they are the exact same guidelines as vaccinated people. There's no difference. And they finally put that out. Vaccinated means absolutely diddly crap.
Actually, that.
Now what
So
about everybody
everything
that
that
lost their
we
jobs?
exactly everything that we've been saying on not only this show but so many other shows that they censored for so long from the very beginning is exactly what they're saying now. That it means absolutely nothing. That natural immunity is just as strong or stronger than any vaccination. Everything that history has shown us, the facts that we put out there over and over and over again, is there. And people that lost millions of people that lost their jobs because of this.
Or businesses. Yeah.
Yeah, they're finally telling. I think there was schools up in was it Maine or somewhere? I forget exactly the state it was. Maybe Massachusetts or something like that. Said that anyone who lost their job because of vaccination for schools can get their jobs back now with back pay.
Wow.
So that's the only thing I've heard that's positive out of that. But there are law enforcement, police, there are hospital workers, doctors,
ODOT, snowplow
Yeah.
drivers up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Here in Oregon.
and they force it on it. And
They
honestly,
wouldn't get
I
vaccinated.
think what should happen is that the people of Estacado, I mean the people of the
Restitution.
yes, honestly, I'm going to say there should be a lawsuit against every government agency and every politician that supported that cause.
Yep.
There should be a lawsuit at them to bankrupt every politician that supported it. And if you want restitution, there's restitution for anybody who was damaged due to the vaccine, health issues, lost their jobs, or missed out on work because they couldn't take it, or whatever else it might be. There should be restitution there.
Learn how
believe
to
that.
spell Fauci.
What's that?
Learn how to spell
Where'd he
Fauci.
go anyway? Do you know?
Fauci.
Retired, probably.
It's probably in Colombia.
Well, I saw a video
Island.
recently of Fauci where he was like, it's nothing more than a cold, it's nothing more than a bad flu, and it's all good. And these masks aren't doing anything. The people
honestly-
wearing masks, it's just silliness. They shouldn't be wearing masks anymore. I'm like, do you not forget the last few years where you're yelling at people if they wouldn't wear a mask? Like,
Do
Yeah.
you know another part should be funding a lot of that restitution is the creators of those vaccines.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pfizer.
Yeah, Pfizer,
Pfizer.
Johnson and Johnson, Moderna,
Yep.
and they should be funding restitution. And everybody who took a shot from one of their stuff should be getting a paycheck.
That's right.
And hey, I'm sorry, this was simply saline in a shot.
Yeah.
no,
But
it wasn't.
It
you
wasn't,
know it.
but
Right.
it was bullcrap. I mean, there was absolutely nothing that it did to help.
No. In
And-
fact, it made me blind for 2 months. So I have a pretty close contact with that whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
The doctors didn't even know what made me blind, but all of a sudden, that could have been a possible side effect
As
of
Well,
the
yeah.
vaccination.
was it you? A friend of yours' son had the same.
Oh
thing.
yeah, one that we work with closely in the city. His boy got blind in both eyes. He had to go to rehab to learn to see again.
because of the
Unbelievable.
vaccine, and they connected it to the vaccine.
Yeah.
But you don't. I mean, and honestly, the other thing to be putting out is Facebook, and well, now that Twitter's been bought out and fixed, I don't think they should be held accountable anymore.
Yeah.
Go back and find the people that were there and make them accountable.
Right.
Any social media that took part in censoring that data, they should be fined, and they should be fined
Oh,
double.
definitely, definitely.
I think honestly, Mark Zuckerberg, Zuckerberg.
I'd say
Close
let's get all
enough.
the money
Mark
from the
Zuckerberg.
lies of
Zuckerberg.
COVID. Let's get all the money together we can in a lawsuit and send it to the fight against trafficking.
Yeah.
There you go. Exactly. I love that.
Yeah. So then we got a movie that we can make happen. It'd be great. We'd
Yeah.
solve the problem.
Honestly, I think because Zuckerberg took part in that, and he actively took part, and
Yep.
he's been before Congress about it.
Yep.
That he should be everything that he has, every dime he has, and every asset he has should be forfeit
Yep.
and should be removed from this company and ejected from the country.
I think it's a great idea.
He's a robot, anyways. Have you seen his lizard eyes?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's creepy,
pathetic.
man. That guy's
Well, I won't be surprised if we get
Hey,
censored
Leo.
on this thing soon.
Ugh. Well, did you guys see, like, totally off topic, but it's on the topic of lizard eyes. Did you guys see that lady freaking out on the airplane video?
Mhm.
So this lady's on an airplane, right? She gets kicked off the airplane because She's on this airplane, she's in the back, and she goes, all of a sudden she starts freaking out. She gets to the front, she's like, "You're not real. Nope, you're not real, you're not real, you're not real. And I'm not staying on this plane and going down with you guys." And she's freaking out, and come to find out, like, she said that the person, like one of the stewardesses guy, was like, his eyes did the whole lizard thing, and she saw like something that she's never seen before, and she's like, "He's not human, I'm leaving." Like, she was freaking out, and they had to like deplane and take everyone off the plane and then replane with different people. Like, she wasn't allowed back on either.
Well, obviously.
Captains take that pretty seriously.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she was on something.
Yeah.
Well, there's a shocker.
Yeah. But hey, before we
I don't know.
before we
I
get too
kind of
far
believe
into
her.
things here and the rest of the part, we actually have a couple of sponsors we do want to share with you guys. So let's take just give us 1 minute here to put these on, and we'll be right back.
What's up? They wanted to come on me. I don't know why.
But you're gonna take it away.
That sounded. Joel has a dirty mind. Anyways, welcome back, guys. Jim, you gotta take it because Joel can't control himself right now.
Are we talking about the movie or?
Well, I was gonna talk. You can bring it.
We passed Biden really
You
quick.
can bring it back.
So
I'll.
it's whatever you want to talk about now.
I know Brandy had a few things.
I do have stuff to talk about. Sorry. So we talked about the movie. Please go see it. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Tim Ballard has been out there talking, and he's been saying, you know, and don't quote me on this because this is kind of like I'm putting together everything I've seen recently in the last couple of days, but he's talking about how he finds it really disheartening to see how the media is acting about the movie. And he said the reason that that's happening is because a lot of these things that you've heard are true. I mean, he has stepped down from the board of the Operation Underground Railroad to focus on the movie and focus on other anti-trafficking organizations. But like, he talks about this, he says, we've all seen it. I mean, we have people that we know that have been there firsthand, that have seen what Hollywood is doing. And it seems like any time, and a friend of ours brought this up to me yesterday after the movie, anytime somebody tries to come out with a documentary about what's going on with human trafficking, they somehow end up dead. Paul Walker was one of them. Epstein had obviously talked and had to tell a lot of things, and a lot of things came out to light, and he all of a sudden ended up dead. There's lots of people along the way that have ended up dead but happened to end up dead while they're working on documentaries about human trafficking and the Hollywood and the elites connection to that.
Well, you
And
got to
he's-
think it's one of the biggest industries in existence today.
Well, yeah, and then there was an actor, and I think it was Matt Damon, but don't quote me on this, talking about how he was at a party, a Hollywood party, and somebody, a famous person like him, was high on adrenochrome and sexually abusing these kids in front of him, and he was shocked at how people are that's just okay in Hollywood. It's normal, and like, it's just as popular to be doing that as it is to be doing like other drugs and things like that. And they keep saying this stuff is a QAnon conspiracy, but the more and more celebrities that come out from Hollywood and are saying this is reality, this is truth, like how much more are we, and how much more do we continue to hear and say there's not something to this? You know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's the thing is getting the word out because they're going to do everything they can to hide it. But that's the biggest thing about light against the darkness. Darkness can't suck out the light. Light scatters the darkness. And so the more we talk about it, the more light on it, the more that it's going to affect us and bring these guys out of the dark to see who's actually where they're at. I mean, you can, when someone's defending it, you can see where they stand.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
obvious.
Well, there's no doubt where we all stand.
Yeah,
I
and
think
it's
we've been clear.
the thing is that it's not something that they say it's a conspiracy, but everything that is there is very easily a verifiable fact.
Yeah.
It's not something that you go, oh, this is just a conspiracy. This didn't really happen. No, you can validate and verify these.
Oh, COVID was a conspiracy.
It never happened.
Homelessness was a conspiracy. I mean, it's all. When are we going to stop believing
Hunter
everything?
Biden was a conspiracy.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
get those people that say things like, we're so angry that you guys are focusing on this movie and stuff because 80% they always throw out random numbers.
Yeah, they have nothing
80% of kids that are trafficked or abused in the home or trafficked by someone they know. It doesn't matter because it doesn't take away from how serious this issue
Well,
is.
yeah,
That doesn't
exactly.
stop that human trafficking in this situation is happening.
I can guarantee you the fact is there is wrong because what they do is they'll take any kids they can get their hands on. There's a
Yep.
portion that are probably abused. There's a
Right.
portion that are runaways and everything else. It's true. That's probably a portion, but the fact is that a lot of these kids are abducted under. Well, again, you saw the video. They just grab them at the minute they can get them.
Sorry to cut you off, but this is interesting. So they're talking on the comments about like Fauci being wrong and James had said just look at the Dallas Buyers Club, and they're talking and then John Landry said all government agents and employees involved in the censorship machine should also be terminated and penalized for deprivation of rights under color of law. Just get this. So Brenda says Keanu Reeves has spoken out to why he refused to associate with the Hollywood elites. And then James Heap said, speaking of censorship, Facebook stopped me from posting my last comment. I'd like to know what that was.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well,
We're kind of curious what it was that you posted out there, James.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe if you message me later directly, then I'll try to get it up on there for you. So,
Yeah, I
and-
just thought that was shocking to see that happening even on our page.
and I just want to
Sad.
point out James Heeb is one of our representatives that's trying
Yeah,
to fight for the good stuff down in
For sure.
down there in Salem.
Salem.
So,
Yep.
and I know that's definitely a hard fight with everything that's going on. And a recent passing of House Bill 2002 is actually this going to lead to our next announcement that we're going to be talking about a little bit here.
Yep.
So,
Unfortunately.
For those who haven't actually heard yet, Brandy and I are going to be relocating to Arkansas here. Actually, we made the announcements and been prepping for this for a little while now, and we're going to be moving to Arkansas on August 5th. We roll out. Now, I want to discuss kind of the main reasons. I've talked about this main thing several times here already. HB 2002 was one of the big reasons, the erosion of parental rights, and basically what this law does, and a synopsis here. And I'm sure James is going to be speaking up about this soon.
Yeah.
'Cause, we've had plenty of conversations about it, but what it does is, if your child, as you say that,
Oh, he said it was in reference to the last election.
okay, but if
We still
your-
want to know.
if your child decides that maybe someone's been speaking to them and pushing to them that they want to have a gender reassignment, the school or doctor can actually start gender transitions treatments, hormones, whatever it might be, up to surgery, everything else, without ever informing you or involving the parent. And if you as a parent decide that you want to get in there, and if you're like, no, I don't think that's right, or I think there needs to be additional treatment, mental discussions and psychology and things, then you can be not only can your child be taken away from you, but you can be charged with a crime and spend a year in jail, and there's a fine of like $6,500.
Let's not forget here, okay? Because there are people talking about, well, if you raise your child right, you don't have to worry about this, right? Well, there's also the situation in Washington State with a similar law. So this law started in California, then it went to Washington, and now it's here in Oregon, just like all this crazy crap. And the same law in Washington, there's a child that their parents are fighting for him right now, and he doesn't want to transition. The school counselor decided he needs to transition. They got DHS involved. They took the kid away from the parents because the parents said no, but the kid also said no. He continues to say no in court, and the DHS and the state are saying, we know better. You're just indoctrinated by your parents. You just don't want to let your parents down. So they've taken this kid from his family, and this has also happened in California more than once. So when people say, raise your kids better, I get that. I do. But there's also situations happening when you could raise your kid perfectly right, and they're screaming no, and the state thinks they know better. And guess what? You're without your child. That's scary.
Well,
Two words for that one: Supreme Court.
Yeah.
exactly, but
And
Yeah.
it'll get cut down in every state.
Well, here's the
every
thing
blue
is-
state in this country.
the Supreme Court is the route to try to get this cut down, but that takes a lot
Thank
of
you,
time,
Ann.
and there's a lot of damage. I mean, think about it. If your child was taken from you today, by the time you get that through the Supreme Court, the damage is done.
Probably an
Are
adult
permanent.
by then.
It only takes a few months for those for a male to have those hormones on him before they're permanently sterilized.
Yeah.
I use all my savings. I'd be a convicted felon.
Right? We'd be stealing
Yeah.
Riley and running away.
Yeah, but that
No, I've just started this new campaign, and we might want to try this. As the mayor of Estacada, you may have heard recently that I said no to a homeless camp in Estacada. Okay. Now, some people disagree with that, but all in all, the idea was sound. I think what we have to do as a nation is do something we've never done before, and that's just say no.
Yep.
You know,
Screw you. No.
as a nation, if we all come together and just say no, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
They're gonna
You
try-
own this
try to do it
nation,
anyways.
not them. It's a rewrite time.
I
well,
agree.
the power comes in numbers.
That's right.
If you stand together for a just cause, they can't do anything against you.
That's what's so hard for us because like this decision was made begrudgingly. We're not happy to make this decision. But it was made because we don't have that fight yet in Oregon. We're trying, and we have a lot of you that support us and a lot of us that have been fighting together for years for this town and for this state. And I hope that everybody continues, and we'll still continue to help support in any way we can. But it was a point of we had to choose our daughter, and it's a hard decision to make. But
Exactly.
Well, if you got to make one, your
yeah,
child's the one.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
No.
You know?
I do want to be clear about something. The show is going to continue.
Yep.
We actually got some pretty good plans. Jim and Sean will still be on the show. We'll be still doing the show.
We're still gonna be here.
Yeah.
Hey, well, we
Well,
don't
we
know.
might not.
When we
We're dying
leave,
here.
we're going to drug you guys and throw you in the back.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
we got some new software that we've looked into. It's actually going to make the show with some new cool features to it. We're going to give Sean and Jim a little power to have control of some of the.
He told us we have to do it in the nude,
More
so
beer.
it ought to get interesting.
They'll take a lot. They'll take a lot of this.
A lot of this.
That's what blurring's
Wow.
Heber Spring beer.
That's it. Heber
Yep.
Springs
for.
beer.
Yep, Heber Springs.
Player.
Yep.
Well, you guys got to
There
start
you go.
practicing
Or
that
beer.
slang.
Oh,
Heber
it'll.
Springs.
Well, see, I grew up in Oklahoma, so it'll come right back for me.
So, there's a law in Arkansas that if you're a resident of Arkansas and you pronounce the name wrong, it's actually a crime. It's a misdemeanor.
I believe that.
If I'm
So
like,
don't
I-
say Arkansas,
You
okay?
can't say Arkansas.
Kansas.
But yeah, so our Arkansas is what it is. But
Yeah.
we'll get our accents, I'm sure.
You guys be sitting on your porch listening to the June bugs.
Dude, that's the thing is we'll be sitting on the porch and it'll be quiet.
It'll be quiet.
You think
Yeah.
And so
Riley's still there?
Yeah, that's true.
there's 2 acres. We can stick on the other side.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but the show will still be there, but there will be a little bit of as we're trying to get there and we had to get our house set up real quick. There'll be a little bit of craziness, but we'll do our best to try to keep the show going on
Yeah.
at the regular intervals.
And
Same
Jim
time.
doesn't know this, but I'm gonna live stream from the road with him, and we're gonna make some jokes along the
Yes,
way.
we're gonna wait till he's falling asleep.
You guys on the road.
We're gonna do little shorts and
Some
videos.
dad jokes and granddad jokes.
He'll be like, drooling.
Yeah. When they make their 30th urine
I'm
stop.
not falling asleep.
I'm gonna drug you.
Oh,
Ready,
man.
driving. No.
Jim's over
Hey,
there taking
hey.
Geritol.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see where when Jim's sitting in the passenger seat, there'll be permanent indentations in the
Hey,
handle.
I'm a good driver. I don't know what this is all about or whatever.
Yeah, she learned the Skidaway. You just cut through a yard.
That is
Yeah.
true. That is true.
You gotta have the bigger
Explorer
truck.
one?
Park in the
That's
middle of the
it.
road and everyone can just go
That's
around.
right.
Kathy
big-
teases me about that all the time when
The
I go
biggest
visit
truck
her.
wins.
That's right.
Well, when I go visit Kathy, I'll just sit right there on the road and people just gotta drive around
There's
me.
another lane they can go around.
That's right.
That's the way it
It's a
is.
small town, you know.
Well, if you'll notice, we all parked the wrong direction up there.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah,
On purpose.
On purpose.
yep.
Yep.
So you gonna think? good
Well,
on the-
James Heap said, luckily we got the worst parts of HB 2002 taken out. Unfortunately, if the kids wind up in DHS care, they will trans them and do not ever have to inform parents. Jay responded, DHS will make up issues to kidnap children from their parents. They have fallen far from their original purpose. Amen. I believe, and this is my personal belief, I don't necessarily have hardcore evidence to this, but I firmly believe DHS and CPS are highly involved in human trafficking of our kids.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, don't
And
well, the CIA was
they? Aren't
involved
they
in
on the
drug trade.
PERS program?
Yeah.
Well, surprise.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
The CIA was involved in drugs. Actually, I read something the other day, and it's in the FBI file, so it actually existed.
Mhm.
Okay, it's real. It's a real thing. It's called the Finders, and it was a CIA program, internal in CIA, where their job was to literally kidnap kids and to take them to perform satanic rituals and things.
Oh.
I saw the documents on the FBI website through the look it up. It's called the Finders on the FBI website. You can find the documents. And yeah, that was internally they shut it down and covered it up.
So you're saying the CIA works within the borders of the United States
Apparently.
against their mission
Yep.
Oh yeah.
overseas?
Shocking? Is that a shocking thing for
government
you?
agency is complicit in human trafficking?
That's what it showed. That's what the document showed. There's lots of really crazy stuff in there. I didn't even get a chance to read a lot of it. I just read a little bit.
Scratch the surface.
That's sickening in itself.
That is.
It is.
Well, yeah, it was brought forward, but the thing is, you can actually find it through the FBI archives. It's an open file. It's called Finders. Supposedly, it's not around anymore because they shut it down. But
Jeez.
yeah, they didn't really make that public, did they?
No.
That's right next to the JFK assassination file.
Yeah.
Well, back in my day, in California, they were having rituals on the beach where kids were being murdered.
Oh my
And,
god.
That was a whole big thing that went on for a few years, and now that dates me a little bit because it goes way back. But
1862.
this has been around for a long time.
Oh.
We're just now touching the surface of something that has been.
No, it's been going
Charles
on for a
Manson.
long time.
Oh
1980.
yeah.
Here's the
yeah,
thing that
whole
gets
thing
me.
went around.
They're out there whining constantly. Oh, you guys, we were slaves back in the day, and
Oh
blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
Yeah. By the way, just so you for the record, every race in the entire world has been in slavery at some point.
Well, what's the big
And
thing
we're
we learned?
still in slavery.
What did we learn?
More than any other time
Yep.
in the history
Exactly.
of the planet.
There is
More
more,
than any other
slaves
time.
in the sex trade than any other time in the world.
And let's get real. We're a
They-
slave to our government right now. We all work 2-3 jobs to afford to live, to
Gotta
afford
pay
to
them
grocery
taxes.
shop, to stay alive a little longer. We're a slave now. All of us. I don't care
Yeah.
whether you're this color, that color, or the other color.
I gotta work all day to pay for my family.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, you poor thing. Your job is so cush, dude.
It is. It is so hard. I work hard.
He's got a good job. He does work hard, but he's got a good
Oh, he's
job.
an
He
idiot.
just needs a new truck, though.
I don't want to hear about his job.
That
It's
truck
a-
won't
it's a
fit
good
in.
job.
I sweated today. I was having my coffee.
A bathroom trip doesn't count.
Oh, there's a comment. Who started the CIA when it was first established? The Nazis that were brought over under Operation Paperclip.
The OSS.
Woo! There is an actual slavery going on in the southern Oregon right now. That's what James Heap said.
Wow,
Tell us more about that,
There you
James.
go.
It's the part of the drug trade down there.
Oh
The-
yeah.
the cartels down there are actually they're immigrants and things that are being brought in or being forced into slavery.
In Southern Oregon?
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
wow.
They pay
It-
the money. They keep them. They ask for more money. They don't release them. It just,
I'm assuming that's what you're
Unbelievable.
referring to, James, is the cartels that are just
Horrible.
leaving
Wow.
That's horrible.
See, it's happening at our back door.
Yeah.
Illegal.
Well, I gotta say, the last time we went to Bend, you remember the trip
Oh
with
yeah.
the League of Oregon Cities.
Oh.
I was in shock.
I'm still trying to shower from that.
Oh my
God.
gosh, it
You
was
know,
so
there were
bad.
homeless straggled all through the sagebrush. You know, the town was just, it's not the Bend I remember.
Not the Bend I used to live in.
Most of Oregon, honestly, is not the Oregon that I remember.
Yeah.
I've
That's
grown
true
up in
enough.
this state my entire life, and I'm having to flee it in order to protect my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's
sad.
because it is not the Oregon I remember. I mean, this is what you just want to know what 40 years of the Democratic rule has done. Look at Oregon, look at California, look at Washington.
generation
That
and a
Well,
half.
I
where they
just
are
go 3
fleeing the
years.
states is because that is what a Democratic
I
rule
mean,
does.
did we or did we not hear from our lady that sold us the house, realtor,
Mhm.
that it's like we're almost like what is that word? Dang it, I lost the word. We're escape. You know, like they give people
Refugees.
we're refugees. There's a lot. She said there's a lot of refugees from Oregon coming over here.
I was
That's
gonna
what she
say
said.
rednecks,
There's a
but
lot of refugees from a lot of
I
the
like
Western,
refugees better.
yeah, she was telling me that there's a lot of refugees coming from the west.
From the West Coast,
Yeah,
basically.
and it
Left
honestly
Coast.
Yeah.
it's from old school Democrats that are now more independent than anything today, and conservatives. They're fleeing the states, and it's just I don't know. I don't have words for it.
I know. It sucks.
you do, but you have to bleep it out.
Yeah.
Bleep, bleep,
yeah.
bleep, bleep,
Oh,
bleep.
so-
I don't have the
bleep.
bleep button here. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's just, but that we're still going to be going to see, so if we have a little bit of scarcity on it on the next, month or two or a show like tomorrow.
Just turn into the city council.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
yes.
you go. Tune into
It's all the
Educated
opposite
City
Monday at the same
Council.
time.
Yeah.
So next week on Monday, actually, I encourage everybody to tune in next week. It's actually my final time as sitting on the city council.
Yes.
I get a chance to do that one. There's actually a workshop and then the city council.
So
And then-
shoes to fill.
Then we have our Traffic and Public Safety Committee meeting, which will be my last meeting.
Yep.
And
Big
I'm going to
shoes to
say
fill.
some stuff, people, so keep tuned.
Also on August 1st is the National Night Out, and that's
Yeah,
the last thing we'll
yep.
be doing. My official time, my resignation from the council is on the 5th of August.
'Cause that's
the day I'm
we
rolling
leave.
out. So
John Landry put it good. He said, seeking asylum from persecution. That's about right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
exactly. I mean,
Religious
years
persecution.
of riots. I mean, I don't get how you can get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that were caught on film and solid evidence of committing riots, assault on law enforcement officers, assault on others, vandalism, attempted murder, even because they set buildings on fire, people inside of it, and then you just release them all.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But yet you will throw and go after conservative people who you have to almost fabricate evidence against in order to get them in there.
I'll tell you.
House.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one good thing though. The last 2 council meetings, you guys have filled the room.
Yes. Keep
Yes,
doing that,
keep
people.
going.
That is incredible.
I
tell
love
you that I
putting-
live for those moments.
That's so
When
cool.
that room is full and everybody's saying the same thing, no, we're not going to do this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm good with that.
It's
You
been
mean
good.
new people other than the regular?
Yeah.
That's right.
Hello. We're
I
always
heard
there.
that. Comment.
Yeah, I think I've
Yeah.
seen you guys there.
We're
once or
there
twice.
every
times.
single time.
Yeah,
I
but
won't
you're-
be now.
You're in
but-
the troubled section.
Yes, you can on Zoom. You can
Yeah, I'll be
there.
on
Yeah.
Zoom. That's right. And I
uh,
can say things now,
That's right.
which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, once we're gone, hey, you don't think I won't be
Fill
tuning
in
into
the
the council
blanks.
meetings when I'm gone?
I think you will.
We're too invested at this
And
point.
when we come back every 3 months, because we'll be back every 3 months.
Nobody believes us, but it's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
we'll be back every 3 months. When we do, we're
They
going
keep
to
saying that.
Yes.
They don't believe us. They
Yeah.
think we're gonna have too much fun out there, and we're gonna say "screw you, Oregon."
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? We're gluttons for punishment. We'll come back every
So
2 months.
this is really cool that I didn't know, and this is really interesting. James said we passed a law this last session allowing these enslaved people to testify against their captors, the cartels, and be protected even though they aren't citizens. I think that's great.
Excellent.
Yeah. I think that's
And
pretty
hopefully they get visas to stay here
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
for that protection.
Yeah.
Good.
good. Turn up.
Get
That's
sponsors.
awesome.
That's good.
Well, here's my thing when it comes down to people that are here illegally. if you're going through and you're making the attempt to make it right, if you say you just if say you've been here for you came over illegally, and you should always do things the right way. But let's just say you're a child and you got brought over. Okay, you become legal age. If you apply to get your citizenship and you go through the process on that, I think yes, you should be kept here. But
Yeah,
if you're here and you're illegal and you've had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to make it right, and you just say screw it, I'm not going to do it, then you're going to get what's coming to you because you're actively committing a crime at that point.
That's right.
If you make an attempt to make it right, I support you getting legal citizenship. Now, if you're crossing over now illegally, no, I mean, push them back out. But my thing is, if you've been here for a while and you're going to try to make it right, then fine, I'll support that. But if you're here and you've been here for 15 years and you've had 15 years to make it right, sorry, I think you should be kicked back to your
You should join the service when you came over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You should have made something to do
They-
right. I get if you're a kid.
Generally, well, I mean, that was the, go back to before Obama was president. That's when they came up with the DREAM Act, the DACA, the DAPA, because they didn't have any choice. They came over with their parents. A lot of them didn't speak the language of their native country. They only speak English.
Well, that's my thing is, once you turn 18, I'd say if you're within, from 18 to 25, and if you haven't made the attempt to get citizenship by 25, sorry, you're on back because you had the opportunity to get that and make the effort for it, but you chose not to. Then that's the consequence of your actions,
Yeah.
or inaction in this case.
Yeah.
Just like if I chose not to get my driver's license and drove illegally, I should go to jail for it, or whatever happens comes out of that consequence.
They'll
That's
probably
my
let you go.
Huh?
They'll probably let you go.
It's easy. Well, actually, no. I'm a white male conservative. In Oregon,
You're in jail for life.
I'll
Right.
probably get the firing squad.
Death
You
penalty.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Jeez.
No, I think there's more of them out there than you know. I think people are starting to realize that we're in a situation, and the only thing that's going to solve it, and I don't care whether you're a conservative, a leftist, whatever you are, you know that this America was built on a Constitution, a real hardy Constitution that all of us live by. And we're asking you, you want to be a part of this? Live by that Constitution. Say no to the outlaws that run this country right now. Say you're going to make the difference and make it. And that's really what we're all talking about.
Oh, I agree. Oh, on that note of the people that run our country, I just got to give this little tidbit. So this lady was, I don't know where she was, but she was at an event where she met President Biden. And she was like videoing him when he was talking to her daughter. And you can hear on the video him sniff this kid. Like it's like a big old on this kid. And then he says, "Don't tell mommy." And you can, it's like the
I think I saw that
creepiest
one.
thing I've ever seen. And
Well,
I'm
I
like,
saw
this
something-
is the guy
Pathetic.
running our country right now. And he's on tape sniffing a child. Could you imagine? Even Clinton couldn't have gotten away with that. Like, oh my gosh.
But he would pay, and then she would hold up the check. So it was a big
Yeah,
deal.
there you go.
Now they're going after another president. Well, so what?
You want to
Yeah.
hear something
Everyone's an
interesting?
adult,
Yeah.
yours,
Yep.
right?
So
Yep.
every president in the last, I don't know, what was it, 10 presidents, something like that, have come in. It was like, I think Bush had like a $1 million valuation when he left. He was like worth like a couple $100 million.
Oh yes, I heard
Um,
about this.
Clinton's same thing, like 1.3 came out like 250 million. Obama, something along the same lines, was worth like a couple.
Very
million.
close to
Martha's
the same.
Vineyard House.
Yeah, Trump came in, was worth
3 billion.
3.2 billion. Left, and he had lost almost a third of his valuation. Lost over $1 billion while serving 4 years as president.
So ask who's really for the people.
That's right.
Exactly. Even
Black and
now,
white to me.
I mean, yeah, he's running for office, but at the same time now, you can see the difference in how he interacts with the people.
And I don't remember Lincoln being a wealthy man. Maybe I
No.
missed something. So a person to run this country right now that shouldn't be based upon the wealth they have. They should be based upon the morals they carry.
Mhm.
We are we're in a new time. I think because somebody's famous on TV or they have a big bank account shouldn't be the agreement to get them into the presidency. I think you, the people, should look at somebody who's real,
Yeah.
somebody who works hard like you, who struggles to get through life like you, and that should be your president. That should be the realism.
Biden,
that's for
Biden
sure.
has literally lived off the tip of the American people his entire career.
50
He's
years.
never owned or ran a business
Right.
except for the illegal Biden crime family business, but
Yeah.
he's never run one. Trump, he made something of himself, and like for example, something that it was a while back. It was back in like probably the '90s or something like that. I saw this a bit on this one. New York City didn't have enough money to do the Veterans Day parade that year.
Oh yeah.
And
This
so
was like
Trump-
in the 90s, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So Trump put out $200,000 of his own money to get it going. And then he went to every single one of his friends and said, "You're going to put money into this," and made them put out. And they raised like $4 million. And that was the highest funded and best Veterans Day parade that New York City has ever had. And that was back in the 90s. He wasn't running for president. He had nothing to gain from it except for that's who he is. But you don't see the media talking about things like that. It's
No.
because that's who Trump is. He's always been somebody about the people.
Well,
But his mean tweets.
Oh, he says mean things.
but when you saw him get off Air Force One, and I have a lot of friends that I went to school with that are still in law enforcement and retired after law enforcement after serving their country. And he would go up and shake everyone's hands. He lands in Dallas, he lands in Atlanta, he lands in Florida. He's shaking the people that are protecting him.
Yep.
I've never seen a president do that.
He
It's
appreciates.
always been a awkward.
Well, hey,
salute.
hey, at least. Oh, I went away. Everyone going to come back. There you go. Come back to me. Where you go? There you are. Hey. Anyways, so at least he is shaking. Not shaking. He's saluting the right people. And all the other presidents salute, people. At least he's not saluting a foreign country's.
Well, Biden salutes the
officers.
ground and then falls over.
No, did you see when he went to visit the UK recently? He came up. He was following up the UK president at the time, King. I think it's the King. Is what it is. He's following him up there, King George something, and the officer or whatever was up there saluted the King as he came up on the stage, right? And so Biden comes up and he salutes the other guy. I'm like, he's not saluting you. And it's like, and he had to basically, he had to hold on to the King and basically walk up to the stage because he can't carry himself.
It's sad.
It is sad.
It's very,
Very
sad. And that's it. That the president and I remember when I first went in the military, I was going for honor guard when I was there, and I applied for it and everything, and this is why I went for active. I was scheduled to go, and after I got through my OSET to go there, but the things that we learned about it before I went there was they are very selective of the people that are in honor guard because they present a very particular
Skill set.
not as no they
Under
present,
200 pounds.
well I'm saying it's
Those are the
Yeah.
days.
they have to have a very specific look because they're the ones who present how the military is to the foreign nation. So they're the ones who show up and they're the ones who are there that people see. So when you see the soldiers that are on camera at these places, they are selected to give a specific presence. And so because they're meant to project strength as our military. But when you have a president who can't even walk down a flight of stairs or has to hold on to another, that counters it into because he's the commander in chief. He presents a leadership that's weak, and therefore the military's weak, and that's why you got the problems we have today. So
That's pretty obvious.
exactly.
Amen.
All the other countries looking at us.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, do we have anything else we want to cover, guys? I think we've hit on most of our subjects.
No, I mean, for the Independence Month that it is, we
Yep.
hope we brought
Red,
you
white, and blue.
back to America.
So, it's we're not using the P word here. What we got? Independence. What's the other word we want? We chose the other day.
Independencia.
Instead of using the pride word, we had another word that was better.
Patriotic.
Patriotic.
Independence, love for our country. I don't know. We had a good word for it the other day.
Yeah.
This is Patriot Month.
Independent,
God.
proud.
That's right.
Country, family.
Mm-hmm.
That's,
That's
right.
right. And not all of us in those order. Family first.
God, family, country.
God,
that's
family.
right. That's right. No, but just remember, this month is important.
Mhm.
And, you know, it's been a good one. And we're getting back to normal after COVID and everything else that's happened. And we all appreciate you tuning in us tonight and us trying to give you that hope again that the people are coming back.
Yeah.
And we're just going to say no.
Keep fighting.
And we're going to
Exactly.
move forward. And we're going to do the right thing. And we're going to hope that you do the right thing. And I think we're all on the same page. And when we're done with this, maybe we can fix some of these problems.
So
Yeah, I
and
agree.
Amen.
just remember to think of vet because
Yes.
your right to riot and destroy stuff is based upon their
Thanks,
protection
Joel.
of our
That's
constitution.
right. That's right.
Thanks, Jim.
So thanks you guys very much for joining us. Tune in the first Monday of next month.
First Monday of next month, Joel's going to have
Actually-
us up and running.
Well, the
Yeah.
first Monday next month technically
We're gonna be on the road.
We'll be on. No, actually, we won't be on the road yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we will.
And then that first.
Oh
Monday,
yeah, because
Yeah.
the first Monday is we'll be on the
Is
road.
the 6th, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's seventh.
Seventh.
Seventh. We'll
So
be on
we'll
the road.
be on the road.
So we'll do a quick
On the road
live from the
again.
road.
So the second
good.
Monday or the third Monday
Third Monday.
we'll be on.
We'll be on. It'll be really interesting to see how to make that work. But we'll be there.
Yay.
Sean
So-
will be left behind crying in his beer. All because they left me.
Well, you know,
Aw.
Jim will be back with you. You guys can get together and hold each other.
That's right. That's right. We're in it together.
Thank you guys. Everyone's saying good show. Good
Yes,
show.
thanks guys very
Thank
much.
you.
We will see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Remember,
Next
Watch your
time we'll
kids.
be on the road, so that'll be interesting.
Don't keep rubbing
Well-
it in.
We'll
be on the
well,
road.
you
We'll be
could
driving
join
across
us.
the
We
country.
keep saying it for a reason, man.
You just
Okay.
keep rubbing it in.
Safely.
We keep saying it. It's a subtle hint, you
No
know.
traffic.
we love all you guys. We'll see you next time. Take care. Have a good week. And next Monday at 7 or 6:30.
6:30.
6:30 we have a meeting at the council.
Workshop.
Yeah, come in. If you're local, come please. When you're
Come
there
on,
in
call.
force, it helps our mayor. That's for sure.
Well, it definitely lets them know how we feel these days. So I think we can change it with good people like you. So please show up if you
Yes,
can.
yes, yes.
See you then. Talk later. Bye.
Bye.